turning back now. You've woken up the demon. The enemy. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it open the mate. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And this is the gift that has been given to me.
Ooh, radio, loud,
Sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. When you give it to me, it's all that.
Sorry, I had to get my screens right.
It's Monday.
It's been a hot minute. You know, it's like I need to do like the Bulls, the Bulls thought shows, but I just haven't really thought about doing them. You know, because I've been busy doing other things around the bunker area here. So how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm mowed the lawn today. That was fun.
Say it one more time.
I mowed the lawn today. That was fun.
You mowed the lawn today.
Yeah.
Is that innuendo, sir?
No, that is. I usually don't mow the lawn.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's why I was so happy for you for a second.
The lawn. Well, usually it's because of the. The allergies. I usually don't do that. But but it's like the lawn around the bunker had to be mowed, and the fucking.
I mean, that just helps hide it better, doesn't it?
True, but the the chickens weren't eating enough grass, so I had
The
to do
Raptors.
the
What's up,
Raptors.
Christina? Welcome back to our show. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what's going on? So I had to mow the grass. I used the electric mower, the battery operated one.
goodness.
Yeah.
You like that?
Actually, to be honest with you, surprisingly, I was like gas mower all the way for a long time, but the battery one is not bad actually. It's
I guess I don't know. I would. I'm gas all the way, baby.
yeah, and I like gas. It's just a pain in the ass when it doesn't work. But surprisingly, this thing has turned on and worked and mowed the grass around the bunker lid and
right.
no problem. So it's
Well, good.
yeah.
Good. So I
It's,
guess the bunker survived just fine during the hurricane, eh?
oh yeah, it was just fine. It did exactly what I paid the money for it to do. It's a 25-foot deep bunker in the ground.
In the ground.
It used to be an old like a missile storage silo.
Yeah.
For here in Tampa, they would like bring batteries of missiles like in crates, because the batteries look like crates. Because Tampa used to be an old it used to be the old military base, like MacDill, right?
We still got MacDill.
Well, I know, but it used to be like here in South Tampa, where we broadcast from. And so the bunker used to be an old missile battery complex that they built. And so they retired it, and I saw
And
it.
you said, give it to me.
I said, I'm
want-
going to buy that mother effer.
I
So
will buy that mother effer right now.
so I laid the money down and converted it into a safe house / recording studio / nuclear silo, if ever that happens. So
/ grow house.
Shh. I'm growing vegetables.
Trafficking
Okay.
Station.
Yes, I'm growing vegetables. So
That's
inside
what he
the.
calls people that he makes mentally unstable with his little grill and some acid, right? Am I the only one that's been watching Bundy?
Bundy. You mean Dahmer?
Dahmer, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I watched. I just finished up the series.
What'd you think?
I'm watching the actual tapes, the
The
recording.
tapes, yeah. So I saw that the other day. I've been around the wife, and she doesn't want to watch that crap, so I gotta wait. I'll probably watch them at work tomorrow.
I thought, to be honest with you, I thought it was a very good documentary. I actually met him one time. Actually, in like real life. He wasn't actually a dick. So
He was a dick.
he was a real dick. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you got lobster claws for hands, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, no, the way he acted on the show, he acted exactly that in real life. So, right down in Sarasota, actually. So,
Well, that's for all
the Carnies are actually in Gibsonton, but the actual strange people are in Sarasota.
Yeah, boy, lobster boy's bit of a dick, I hear.
he's a dick. So, anyways, I watched it. I thought it was not bad of a documentary. I thought it was very to the point.
I thought it was good. I thought that they tried a little. So I like the way that they didn't like church it up and try to make you like love him,
Right.
because they like to do that.
Yeah.
They still did kind of in some ways though do that. Like they kept giving you like hints of like, oh well, he was just misunderstood and lonely or whatever, as like a subtext. But they never came out and said that. That was just kind of like the mood they put forward. And then so that I was like, man, I'd rather you not try to make like somebody that was a monster like look lovable, right?
Right.
I feel like they didn't push that super hard. But then the other bit I didn't care for is that they just went so far into like the the love scenes, I suppose. Like that just to me didn't seem necessary.
Yeah,
Like,
they
everybody knows what happens behind the doors. Like we don't need all of that extra. Like tell the story. We're trying to.
Right.
These superfluous sex scenes are just that. Like they're extra and they're nonsense. Like I don't care.
And that was a thing that I kind of got too, because to be honest with you, I knew the name Jeffrey Dahmer and I knew he was, a killer, but I didn't know exactly like how far, how deep, the rabbit hole went. You know what I mean? Maybe because I didn't look into it. I don't know. Maybe we talked about it in school. Who knows? I don't remember. But
You did what? Like the drilling in the heads and making them zombies, or what?
yeah, all that stuff. I didn't really know exactly what.
Spoiler alert, by
he
the way,
did,
for those of you
yeah.
that haven't seen it.
But the way they portrayed him was from what I understand was very on point. I know the families weren't too happy about them doing the video.
I don't know if that's true. If that legal stipulation that they showed even in the show was accurate, then they made a bunch of money on that, or they're making currently a bunch of money on that.
Yeah,
all the victims' families,
right.
so that's good.
And
for them to say that they didn't want that out there doesn't make any sense.
Well, a lot of times production companies will do that as a courtesy, and they'll say, "Hey,
no,
listen,
not in this case. Well, maybe in this case,
they'll
now.
say, "Hey, listen, we're doing a video, and we're just letting you know that we're producing a video about Jeffrey Dahmer."
Yeah, then somebody turned around and said, "Bitch, I'm getting paid."
Well, yeah, but I mean, like if they say no, it's like, well, sorry, we're still doing it.
Doing it.
Green light's still going on, which again they portrayed his life very, very well, very to the T. A lot of the scenes I was questionable about because I didn't think that the actor would push it that far.
He did great, man. I think.
He did. He did a wonderful job.
Really good.
I'm
not mad at him at all.
No, I thought the whole thing was great. It was just sort of ironic how, for one, Ted Bundy, was it Ted Bundy? I think got lethal injection.
Yeah, Ted Bundy.
Yeah, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and in a solar eclipse all at the same time. But the handle, the one you put the weights on, like gets smashed right in the face.
Yeah, but why is that ironic?
Well, because he told him that normally he would drug them up, before he would do whatever, and then the guy goes, "Huh, not this time, bitch," you're gonna fill every 18 victims,
Yeah.
you know, and then he just sort of like, and you think he felt anything after like the first couple whacks?
Yeah, I wonder that too sometimes when they go all like crazy hostile in some of these fight scenes and stuff, or like
Yeah.
like that, getting your face smashed or the back of your head
Yeah,
smashed.
yeah,
Likely, in reality, you're gonna have knocked yourself, or you'll be knocked out, or so in a daze that the rest of it's just not. So, but I mean, I don't know. I've never been beaten like that, so it's like maybe you do feel every bit of it. I don't
Well, I
know.
know like the tapes, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes. They were saying that the one victim that he hit with the weight set, I think, was the hitchhiker guy, right?
Oh, right.
He
That was
said
the first victim, right?
I think so. I think that was the first victim. He said that the guy was unconscious, so he was still alive, but he just didn't feel anything. And I'm
Well,
like, that's
again,
so
that's
insane.
hearsay. You don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what the doctor was saying.
Just because you're not like able to speak or something doesn't mean that your nerves aren't still ticking.
That's
what I'm
true
gonna say
too.
with
I
that.
mean, can you imagine just being drugged up? And
Well,
then-
he was. Excuse me. He wasn't.
no, I know, but I'm saying
First
the
one just
the
got-
victims.
was like a rage hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like being the victim and being drugged up, and then you're sort of unconscious.
I'd say that's kind of compassionate.
But I mean, you're
'Cause
kind of
there's
unconscious.
some of them out there that want you to be in pain, and he was like, I'd rather that. Like he didn't want.
Right.
Like I don't know. I feel like they portray it as like this was a sense of like misguided love.
Right.
in a
And
way.
when that's what he said. He said, because I watched a couple of the actual interviews, right? And he said that, he didn't want his victims to be in pain, like you said. He said that,
Right.
he wanted them to feel nothing, and he wanted to be dominant over them, and he wanted to,
Well, but it
be
was
in
less about the
control.
domination and more about, well, at least according to what was portrayed, it was what they portrayed was it was less about the domination and more about the fact that he assumed because everybody else had left him that they would too, and he didn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, well, if I make it so they can't leave,
Right.
then,
Exactly.
then
yeah.
I won't be alone.
And that
because
was-
they would die from their injuries. Like, oh shit, well.
And that was discussed
Gotta find a
too.
new one.
Yeah, I think that with the other one was the combining factor, because again, he didn't say that he did this for, race, creed, or whatever the person.
He definitely had a type though, didn't he?
He did, but he also said that it wasn't nothing with race because somebody brought that up.
Well, but here's my point. Like, yes, I agree. I don't think he did it like he was like, oh, like in a negative way, like I want to hurt this type of person.
Yeah,
I think he was attracted to that type of person. So that type of person just
Right.
ended up being the one that was the victim because he was always going to go for what he was attracted for.
right, and I think
Attracted.
that was too because.
It was just just a
Right.
matter of attraction. And not really
He
a
was
matter
said in
of,
the interview he was attracted to like the athleticism, and the physique, it was a physicalness of it. But they tried to coin him for being crazy, but he told him, he said, this is not, it wasn't craziness.
no,
It
he
was-
even said, he goes, I knew damn well what I was doing.
yeah, exactly. He knows he wasn't. In one of the interviews, he said that it wasn't Satan or God telling me. It wasn't a possession. It wasn't nothing like that. It was a person right across from the interview person naming him, and he said it was me. It was a compulsion.
baby.
Um,
Me, baby. I can't control myself.
That's the thing, though. You have a compulsion to take it to that type of level. Like, what would sort of... Okay, let's take out all of the lustiest things, the gay bars and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. But to do all that, and then also on the back end, sit there and, strangle them or this or whatever he did with them, and then take out the body parts. Because I know in one of the interviews he said that he liked the reason why he like gutted them like he would a rodent on the side of the road, right, for roadkill, was he liked the shimmer.
taxidermy stuff.
Yeah, he liked the shimmer of the guts, of the intestines.
Oh yeah, the lining. Yeah.
Yeah, the shine, the sheen of it, you know. But to sit there and take it to that next level of you know, killing another person and then cutting them open, removing their hearts, you know, cutting their heads off, you know, stuff like that. I mean, that takes a whole new level of you know, persecution. You know, I mean,
Well, what are you saying? Are you saying you think they should have killed him?
what do you mean, like execution?
Yeah, that you think.
Well, that's what he wanted. He wanted the electric chair.
Well, I know he. Well, and that's exactly why he didn't get it.
Well, no, he didn't get
Let's
it
be
because in what state is this? Missouri, right? Is it Missouri? I think it is. They don't have executions there.
Right. No, you're missing my point too. Though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you imagine you're a cop that just arrested somebody that did these heinous things.
Yeah, yeah.
And didn't really have remorse for it. Was just kind of very matter of fact.
Right.
I wasn't crazy. I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm a crazy, you know, I'm an asshole or whatever. And this was his attitude. Would you not like? Would you want to give him what he wanted?
Oh, of course. I mean, of course.
No, of course not. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna reward you for being the biggest asshole. In the
Oh no,
world.
I didn't mean reward him. I meant like, you know, give him what he needed. You know, let me expedite that
So
a
what he
little bit
needed.
faster.
Yeah. So I agree. I think you know, he ended up dying anyway.
Oh yeah,
But-
I think that the way now I don't know if that was actual factual when the cops walked out, but I can tell you like this, having known people who've worked in the jails before, at least during that time, they do sort of have a different mindset at that in time, and they probably would walk out for something like that, you know.
No, what do you mean?
Okay, like, do you remember the scene? Okay, when he got killed, right?
Right.
So back then, right, in the 90s, it was a very different time period back then in the jail system. You know what I mean? If you paid off a cop, or if you paid off a jail, you know, cop, you know, to turn a blind eye, they would. Now in the scene, you see Dahmer, you know, washing the gym equipment, and they go, oh, we've got a, you know, extra person to come help, right? Kind of odd, right? No big deal. So then he brings in his bucket, and then the next thing you see is the officer leave the exercise room, right? And leave the inmates alone, which they never do, you know. And so then,
right. Oh yeah. Okay, I get where you're coming from.
And
now.
so
Yeah,
then now,
oh yeah, that was definitely
right. The one
I
guy
thought
goes
they-
in there, kills the other guy, right? And that's in the shower, right? And that's when he comes out and he goes, you know, this guy killed his wife and his daughters and stabbed them, and then stabbed his wife 5 times in the head, you know. But he's like, that's not to be compared of what you've done, you know. Beat the holy shit out of him. So,
Yeah.
which, you know, they still haven't put a park there.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Yeah, to this day,
That's what it said there at the end.
it's like, I don't think they want to sit there and have any remembrance of what happened.
Yeah, I think that's their idea too. Is that they'd rather not.
It's kind of like that guy that got sucked into the what do you call it, the sinkhole, right? A couple of years ago, where they were sleeping over there. I think it's like Spring Hill area. And,
Oh right, yeah.
and all of a sudden the house started shaking, and you know, the guy, you know, I think saved his family, but he got sucked into the hole.
Jesus.
Imagine that, dude. Imagine sleeping and having that happen to you.
I can't. That's great.
I'd probably be still asleep while it happened. I'd be like, I don't know. It's because sometimes when I sleep like that marine sleep, but then sometimes I get up really quickly and ready to go, but then sometimes it's like I'm such a deep sleep that I can't get up. You know what I mean?
That's scary.
Well, I mean, I can get up, but I can't. It's like with an alarm. I can't get up with an alarm, so it's kind of hard to do that. If that makes sense at all, I don't even know.
You never make sense to me.
So did you like it? I mean, for what you've seen?
Overall, yeah.
Okay.
Overall, I'd say.
What's the over-under?
You know what else I really liked about it?
What's that?
Which kind of threw me off a little bit was that Niecy from Reno 911. Did you ever watch Reno?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. She played a lot of different films.
I was like, oh, look at her in this dramatic role.
Oh, she played a good role in that.
Yeah, she did fine. I think that they really.
I called the cops 7 times.
Right. But, and I don't know. They pushed a little bit, but I mean, I get that it was. I don't know. I don't want to say.
I think, to be honest with you, I think that the cops that were involved with the first hand of those of the first event where they brought the young kid back to his apartment, right?
Right.
I think those 2 cops should have been.
Right, and they got medals and shit.
Yeah, they should have been fired. Not for the fact of what happened or what was happening, because they probably didn't know. You know what I mean? Until they opened up the fridge and the freezer, but still, they still should have done their job, and
well, of course,
and stuff like that. But I mean, just imagine opening up that freezer door and seeing 3 or 4 heads wrapped up, in plastic bags.
Why would I want to do that?
No, I'm just saying, be like the cop. You know what I mean? The cop that because you're walking. I
hope he felt like the worst, and I think he did.
Uh-huh.
I think if he didn't, then that paints an even bigger picture of a problem, I'd say. But I don't know. You'd have to assume that he looked at that and was like, damn, that was me, bro. Like, my bad. My bad. Like, I assume that that's something that you would want to Oh my goodness, give me a second.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go on a 5.
All right, hold on. Let me get some music set up. So we've been talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer guy. That he was just sort of crazy in his nutshell of insaneness. So we're gonna take a minute to go get the drinks filled up and get everything back to par. Don't go away. When we come back, we got more to talk about. Social Reload Show. We'll be back in a minute. Ghouls Radio Lounge. How are you? What's going on?
We're back, baby.
On a Monday, you know, just chilling, just relaxing. Hopefully you got your whatever it is that you relax with at the end of the day. Go ahead and relax. It's Monday.
Monday, baby.
Got the first day out of the way. There you go.
Do it to it, Lars.
So, we were talking about Jeffrey Dahmer before we took a break, and
Yes, we were.
very strange. You know, to be honest with you, not giving him any props or anything, but I guess I'd have to sort of congratulate him a little bit because he said no. Listen, he took responsibility for what he did. He didn't blame it on his parents. He didn't blame it on society. He didn't blame it on, whatever social deal he was fighting. He blamed it on himself. He said that it was him. Because most people that do these type of heinous, crimes, they blame it on their parents. They blame it on, family deals, uncle, grandfather, whatever, touch me deal type of thing, But he said, no, it's just me.
It's just how I do.
Just give it to me. It's all me. So you gotta give him a little bit because, I'm not saying that he's handcuffed. Would you, you were on this sort of desert island, would you sort of kind of like, beat the crap out of him? Would you talk to him first, torture him?
I mean, so am I on the side of the law? Like, am I the cop?
Well, I mean, you're not a cop or anything. You're in an area where there's no, what do you call it? You're like when you go on a cruise ship and international waters.
International waters.
So now, the island's on international waters, so you have no government.
You have no what?
You have no government that you can claim, so you're sort of.
So are you asking me if I could get away with murder with somebody that people that wouldn't care necessarily that he was dead? Would I do it?
Well, they would care if he was dead or not because they want him dead.
Well, right. So that's what.
But
I'm
if
saying.
you had the opportunity to go out there and take care of it,
would I choose to do that?
Yeah, would you be the martyr for the victims?
Am I going to jail for it?
No, because you're in international waters.
Then I mean, I guess, like, you know what I mean, like, I guess if that's what's happening, if that's what's hip and cool at the time, let's do it.
If they had it like it was a lottery, like you could put
like
up.
They were like,
money.
hey, you won, you get to go.
Yeah, like you say, okay, the bid is $100,000, right? Or let's just say that the starting bid is 20 G's, right? And you sit there and go, okay, well, you put in whatever you want because you're the guy that's going to take care of Dahmer, however way you want to do it, and then the next person doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, if you got that opportunity, and then they gave you every single case file to look after before you went out there.
Right.
Because I think if Dahmer or a person like Dahmer were to go to jail nowadays, I think for the same crimes that he did, I think they would put him in solitary for a very long time. Maybe throw away the key,
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they tried to get him on, him being crazy. But he said, no, I wasn't crazy. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah, it's like I knew it because they wanted him to plead insanity. That way the judge would give him a lighter sentence. And he would be huh?
He's like, try to tell me.
You tell me
damn well what was going on.
Yeah, I know what I was doing. Shit, but I mean, would you do that though? Like there's no consequence on your end at all. There's no you won't go to jail. You won't be the family can't, sue you. God forbid, hypothetically, I mean, but if that was a deal, I mean, would you participate?
I don't know. That's kind of. I don't know.
You can like choose your own weapon, and
Would you?
I got two different answers. I kind of agree with you as I don't know, but I kind of say yes because if I was part of the family, I would be 100%. You know what I mean? Like if I was, one
If I
of
was
the
part of the
family,
family for sure. Like I feel like my rage would just take over. But the fact that it's not my family is not doesn't make it better or worse or anything like that's not what I mean. But it just I feel like it's up to them to handle it how they would want to handle it.
Yeah, I mean that's true
That's how I
too.
feel.
But I don't know. I would probably maybe consider, I guess.
I'd consider it.
Because, I mean, if you're looking through all the case files and you're seeing what he's doing, you're not dealing with a normal, you're almost dealing with Michael Myers. Like on the outside it's all cool, but on the inside it's a little bit funky. It doesn't really make sense to where, I mean, I guess
a little bit funky.
a little bit funky. I don't think that really the human capacity can really sort of wrap themselves around something like this or something like Jeffrey Dahmer because it's so unbelievably unfathomable that he does these things, especially in the time period that he does them in. So,
you saw a lot of that actually back at that time because hitchhiking was normalized and
yeah, exactly.
more about free love and people just down whatever.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's like we as humans can't comprehend that, but on the flip side of the coin, there's other like islands and other, cultures to this day that still practice cannibalism and, ritual killings and stuff like that, So I think it's just sort of, and I hate to say this, but and I'm treading lightly here.
Okay.
I think it's a little taboo to see for us as humans, I guess, to see something like that, like, in different cultures, they eat different things and drink different things, stuff like that. But to them, that's normal. But to us, it's not normal. So in some cultures, one could say that and I don't know exactly, what he did except for what was said in the documentaries, but one could say that could be normal in some other different cultures.
Yeah.
It's just for us as humans, we cannot wrap our heads around it because it's just one of those unfathomable things of a guy dismembering a body.
Yeah.
But they used to do it with a mob.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Say again.
They used to do it with the mob. The mob in New York, when they got rid of bodies, they would put them in wood chippers. They would cut them up and like spread them around.
Jesus.
I mean, really, that's what happened. I mean, in Vegas, that's why there's a lot of holes in the desert. Because the mob that try to take over Vegas, if they got to get rid of somebody, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the story a couple of years ago where they found the little girl that was, I want to say she was maybe 15, 16 at the time, but she had been kidnapped. right? And the guy held her in a container, a steel container. About they tried to take it to a university. And,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
and they were going to slice it up to see what made him do this, but
What makes him tick?
yeah, the father, I think, according to the show.
Yeah, I'm with them. I don't think that they really could have figured anything out with that.
Yeah, and I'm with them too. I think let's just leave dead dogs, lie, and because I don't. Did the father die or what? I haven't got really that far in the documentary of the actual documentary, but they didn't say if the father died or not. The Lionel.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he is now, but yeah, at the time, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
But
not sure.
but yeah, I mean, imagine getting that phone call, that your son is in jail for kidnapping. What was it? First degree murder.
They were dead.
Yeah. The narcolepsy.
Necrophilia is up there.
The-
All that stuff.
Not narcolepsy.
No.
Necrophilia.
Right.
Right. I think I have narcolepsy sometimes.
You do.
I do.
I've seen it.
Yeah. But
Where's my beer at?
huh?
I lost my beer.
Oh darn. So, Jeffrey Dahmer, probably one of the most gruesome serial killers.
I don't know. I think Ed Gein.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many did he kill?
Huh?
How many did he kill?
Well, it's on. I feel like it's unknown because he just had skull ashtrays, skull bowls. He had faces and peeled skin.
Really?
When he got caught, there was a girl bloodletting, but the wrong way. She was hanging from her ankles and was cut from her vajayjay to her sternum.
Oh.
With a chainsaw or whatever, and was just sitting there still fresh, bleeding and stuff.
Really? He's just sitting there watching Captain Kangaroo?
Yeah, with his mom that he had dug up from her grave.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah,
okay,
he was a loon.
So he was eating popcorn, sitting on the couch.
A lot of they say a lot of the horror movies that we grew up on or whatever are based on him. Like the certain psycho characteristics are taken from him. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is taken from him. What was it?
Ed Gein, right?
Yeah, Ed Gein. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can't believe they got movies on him.
Kill that inspired many horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's out there, bro.
What year was this? Do you know?
I'm sorry.
What year was this? Because it looks like a lot of,
Yeah, we're talking black and white era.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe 1940s.
They also lived in the backwoods, in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Too, yeah.
So you dig up your mom, right? And you place her on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably listening to the radio if you have power.
He keeps her clothed and he bathes her and stuff.
Oh, the bones or the body?
The body, right? Yeah.
Okay, and then you've got another.
And he
girl.
dug her up while she was still fresh, she wasn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Right after she died.
He waited a little bit, but the voices, his mom was in his head,
Oh, okay.
telling him what to do, and she told him to come get her. She wasn't actually dead.
Right. So then he dug her up, put her on the couch.
Naturally,
just kind of freshened her up.
I mean, sometimes at the dinner table, sometimes in bed. Yeah.
So then he's got this other, I would probably say, 18-year-old hanging from the ceiling or something like that.
Well, no. So he was a guy that was heavily religious, and his mom had always shunned him away from sins and wickedness and being dirty and dirty types of people and stuff. So he got very judgmental about people, and if they behaved slightly out of line from a completely righteous and moral path, he felt like he was helping and getting rid of them because they weren't living righteously and morally and whatever.
That kind of sounds like the movie what's it called? Phone Booth. You ever seen that
I
movie?
mean, I don't know. Yeah, I can't comment on that. But a couple of them were like romantic relationships he was trying to start, but he was so awkward and they were so, not having it. And he also would all of a sudden convince himself that they were wicked in some kind of a way. They would see them talk to another, he would see them talk to another man like in the town or something like that, and then plot to grab them. Or
Really?
yeah, like one of his earlier ones too was like the barmaid from up the street. Like, she works for tips and whatever, so she would be flirty and stuff like that, and just the flirty language would get him.
Right.
Is why she got killed.
Well, I found this video on YouTube, right, and it had 10 disturbing interviews with killers.
Hey, we're taking
Has
a
what
look
now?
at 10 disturbing interviews with killers.
10 disturbing interviews with killers.
All evil.
Oh, I've probably watched it.
For this
I
list,
watched a lot
we're
of that
looking
kind
at
of stuff.
instances
Did you,
where
yeah?
accused murderers chilled our bones with statements or body language
That's
during
crazy.
it.
I mean,
Believe in hitting.
that's John
Interviewer
Wayne
Walter
Gacy.
Jacobson doesn't need to do much talking.
Yeah,
in his
he was,
encounter with
he was
Gacy,
an
as
interesting
it quickly
character.
becomes clear.
Did he
that the
dress
former
up like
Pogo
a
the
clown or
is
something
trying
like
his
that?
best to
Yeah,
present
he was a
alibi
part-time
after
clown,
alibi
and he owned a
instances.
construction company.
Yeah.
And he would grab
Gacy
hitchhikers,
himself is
and he
composed
had
for the most part, although
the door
there
handles
is a
taken off
moment
inside
where
the
he
car.
does
So once they got in, they weren't getting out.
Oh, they weren't good now, huh?
Yeah, and then he would take them somewhere and do what he did or whatever. And some people speculate he probably hid bodies in some like foundation and stuff like that because he had a construction company. And
No shit.
yeah,
Ted Bundy was number 9.
say
What
it
did-
one more time
Ted Bundy was number 9 on there. Let's see. Here's
on the list here.
yeah. Let's see.
Ted Bundy was charismatic and was able to break out of jail a lot.
Oh, was he really?
He was.
Huh. How do you plan that? I mean, like, what do you do?
Well, one of the times he did, he was in court and he had pre-planned by jumping from the top bunk and like bracing his legs for impact,
Right.
and like would try to fall harder and harder, like start adding more and more weight to him and stuff like that, so that he would, when he hit the ground, because it was a second story courtroom,
Right.
and so his plan was, I'll be unshackled, I'll have a moment, I can run to the window and jump out and start running. And that's exactly what he did. That was like the second or third time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
he just kept breaking out. One time it was like because they were too lenient with him on his like work release or whatever, because he was, on good behavior. I mean, he was very charismatic. He was very
Yeah.
well-to-do guy and whatever, and would talk him up and this kind of stuff. And then,
He just get his way,
he
and
just
once
he
he
got
gets
away.
his-
He got away,
yeah.
and then he was out. He was out
Number
for
6,
some
Jeffrey
amount of time,
Dahmer.
and then got caught again, and then this kind of thing. It just kind of kept happening.
So number 6 is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
He's-
there he
he's-
is.
There's no barely repressed rage within the demeanor of Jeffrey
There he
Dahmer
is
as he
with his-
discusses his history.
Could you
with
shake his
interview-
hand?
Shake it
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Like this guy did. Like he shook his hand like it was
I
nothing.
feel like instinctively
Barely
I would, just because that's what you do when you meet somebody new. But you're right. I would think about it later and be like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
I don't know if I could touch the guy. I'd be like, don't touch me. It's like, I don't know. That'd be weird.
Repressed rage within
I
the
mean,
demeanor of Jeffrey
hey.
Dahmer.